I was sitting in the back thinking about how to identify myself, and I was cracking up because I thought if my sister were here, she would go, "This is my sister Kay, and she's a great big whore." And one of the things I want to talk about tonight is judgment. And I hate labels. Labels are bullshit. I don't like them. I'm a firm believer in everybody gets to win, whatever that looks like for everybody. And if somebody's not winning, it's time to tweak whatever's going on. So I had a really interesting couple of revelations about 6 weeks ago that have been kind of percolating. This is the first time that I've ever talked about this particular part of my lifestyle with anybody. Go big or go home, right? So, I am not a monogamously wired person, but until about 6 weeks ago, I was really willing to put that label on. Because not only am I afraid of you judging me for that, but I'm afraid of me judging me. Because I was doing a number on myself and didn't even realize it. We were kind of talking about this a little earlier tonight. Conditioning runs really deep. And I grew up in the Midwest, where the plan is you go to school, you marry your high school sweetheart, you buy a house, you pop out a couple of kids, you work someplace for 50 fucking years, and then you die. Doesn't that sound like fun? My God, I'm so different than anybody else in my family. When I go back to Chicago, it's like the circus came to town. So, because I don't care really what anybody else expects of me anymore. I've managed to throw off a lot of other people's expectations in many areas of my life, except sex and relationships. And I had a situation in the fall of last year where I had started dating this guy, and you know, monogamy to me always kind of felt like a concession that I was making for the other person, and a really good excuse to not have to use condoms. So, kind of win-win, I guess. I don't know. I mean, everybody hates them, but what are you gonna do? But yeah, and so things were going along, and there were parts of this relationship that were phenomenal. There was a great connection. There was a lot of really cool stuff going on. And then I met somebody else and had a lot of synchronicity happening with the second guy. Meanwhile, number one guy over here, we have this monogamy contract, right? I'm thinking, okay, so what I ended up having to do was basically have a conversation because I was not enlightened yet as to who I really am and what I really thought. But what I thought I needed to do was bail on that relationship and say, okay, we have this agreement, and I know this is your expectation, and I really need to be free to sleep with other people. It didn't go well. He was not pleased. I mean, but I was honest about it, so okay. Had I been a little bit more self-aware at that point, maybe I would have been able to have a conversation like, you know, I probably shouldn't have agreed to this in the first place. And there are parts of this relationship with you that I really, really like. And there are parts of this relationship with this other person that I really, really like. And wouldn't it be better to just be able to enjoy all of that? I am a freedom junkie. I don't live any part of my life in the box. I never really have. I don't know why the hell I thought that I was a monogamously wired person when about 2 years ago I think I had 13 people that I was intimately involved with. That's not a normal thing for somebody to say, you know, yeah, I'm monogamously wired, but I'm a great big whore. So that judgment of what that means about me, you know, that Midwestern, oh my God, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Well, if what I'm supposed to be doing by somebody else's standard is something that makes me incredibly unhappy, why do I want any part of that? So it's getting to a point where I'm starting to really see all those little subtle judgments that come up. And I was joking when I said, hey, I'm Kay, I'm a great big whore, but sometimes in the mind, that's what happens. And it's a very subtle label and a very subtle judgment. And it's bullshit. You know, it's bullshit. I am who I am. Woo! I'm a person with very big energy. I'm a person with a lot of really interesting sexual quirks. And frankly, you know, the guys that are into the stuff that I'm into, all 15 of them or whatever, you know, okay, so the guy you have the great sex with, and the guy that you can have the deep philosophical conversation with, and the guy that you can laugh with until you're going to choke, a lot of times those guys, they don't exist in the same person. And I'm selfish. I like what I like. I want what I want. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have to shame myself and call myself names and think I need to be a different way.
Yep.
Because it's bullshit. So, but you know, that conditioning is so subtle and it's so deep. And I remember it probably started when I was like this high and tried to masturbate for the first time. And that sexual shaming that happens in our society is just ridiculous. You know, whose business is it what I do and who I do? It's nobody's business but my own. And if I conduct myself as a person of integrity with any partner that I have, then I got no harm, no foul. Right? Try explaining that to my mom. This is one of those subjects that is just not on the list at Christmas. You just don't talk about it. You know, all of my grandparents died with the question, when are you going to get married, on their lips? And the answer to that is probably never. Because I like my freedom. And the idea of having a life partner, man, somebody did a number on me. I don't want a prince on a white horse. I want a bunch of weirdos that can make me laugh and take me on adventures. That's what I want. You know? I mean, I am... Boredom is so not cool. And for me, relationships and intimacy and sexuality, it's kind of like music. What I'm in the mood for can change from one day to the next. And I can't expect one person to keep up with me, ever. Because they end up looking at me like, who the hell are you today? You know? I try on a lot of different stuff. I go off in 14 different directions at once, and it is unrealistic for me to think that there's going to be the one person that's the one for me. And I'm cool with that. I don't have a problem with it. I'm open to the possibility I could be wrong. I think the last time I was wrong was like 1987. You know, but it could be a thing. You know, it could happen. Memory escapes me as to what it was, but I'm sure there was something back there. But the whole idea of that social construct, it was just the way that my conditioning in my brain had latched onto as this is the only way. Now, I don't necessarily identify as polyamorous. I don't know what the hell I am. I just do me. You know, I don't really care what it's called. And that would probably be the one thing that I would want to say is, I'll do me, you do you, and whatever it is, whatever that looks like, just don't jump on the bandwagon and judge anybody. Don't judge yourself. You know, there's enough people out in the world, starting with my family, you know, that are going to heap a whole bunch of shit on you for being who you are. But I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon and do it to myself. And I didn't realize until about 6 weeks ago that that's exactly what I was doing. And so introspection is a really interesting thing, because I learn all sorts of weird subtleties. This learning is going to be done when I'm in the dirt. Maybe not then. I don't know. But it doesn't make any sense to me if I'm meeting somebody that's not being their authentic self. If I'm doing it, I can meet people where they are. If I'm not doing it, then I project a lot of expectations and a lot of unvoiced bullshit on somebody else. If I am not fully myself and I'm holding back, I can't meet other people where they are. And I can't connect with them in the way that I want to. And so, yeah, I'm just going to wrap up and say, you know, be whoever you need to be, because then how else are your people going to find you? Right?